electronics, you'll need to have the tower, you'll need to have the antenna, and you also need to have an emergency generator, because a power supply is never guaranteed in any part of the world, not just Nairobi. If you build it on a Safaricom site, it means you can share the tower, you can share the generator, you can share all that stuff, and you'll also share the maintenance. So that reduces the cost of it. So that's the first element, which is the network, servicing 80 base stations specifically for the police. The second part is the cameras. So we will be putting in 1,800 cameras, which will be scattered across those two locations. And they'll be on the roadside, they'll be in airports, they'll be in hospitals, they'll be in all those volatile areas that Benson and his team need to see what's going on. Again, people say, well, cameras don't cost that much, because actually there's this very simple maths that people have been doing in the media. The cameras vary, as you'll see. Some of them are night vision cameras. Some of them have the capability of facial recognition. Some of them have the capability of number plate recognition. You have the dome cameras. So there are a range of cameras which will be put in different places. And one of the questions which I think the members have asked is, can you have an input into where those cameras should be? But I think that's between you and the police to figure out. And I'm sure the relationship you've got with them will help to inform their decision on where they want those cameras mounted. And then the third element of it is a command and control center. Benson, in a previous life, when he was a traffic commandant, we agreed to put out these speed cameras. Remember, the corporate world came together and we provided, I think, 11 or 12 speed cameras. And one day I decided to go see how it works. And so Benson and the team took me out to the roadside, and we watched it in operation. One, because I wanted to make sure that there's no possibility of bribery and corruption, because we all know that the police are not always as we would like them to be, and there's lots of reasons for that. And so the first thing was that the policeman was in his own car. So he didn't have a police car. Why? Because the police don't have enough money for the cars. The second thing was that the guy would snap the oncoming car, and I'd say, how do you tell the ones who will stop him which ones to stop? And so he got out his easy phone, literally it was an old Nokia phone, and he called on a prepaid phone to tell the other guy. How primitive is that? I grew up in the UK in the days of the IRA. In the past week I've been both in London and in China. And as you actually, next time you travel, just look up on lampposts and you'll see all over those cities, and I'm going to Washington next week, all over those cities you will see surveillance cameras. Is it intrusive? Yeah, it is if you're a criminal. Do I care that people see me? And do I care that people see my number plates? Not really, because I have nothing to hide. And if we are to, I don't want to lecture you about security because you guys already know this, but if we are to make our citizens secure, you have to put them up. So that's the system, very simple system. Question is, since when does Safaricom know anything about security? We don't have to know anything about security. We know more than anybody else, although it sounds slightly modest, more than anybody else about running mobile networks, because we run the biggest mobile network in East and Central Africa. The second question that people ask is, you get a lot of congestion on the Safaricom network. The Friday, I think the MPs refer to it as the Friday afternoon syndrome. How can you guarantee you don't have the same problems on this network? Well, the difference is simple. On the Safaricom network, we're servicing 21 million people. On this, we will be servicing, when it's totally dimensioned, and every policeman's got access to it, it'll be 50,000 people. 50,000 versus 21 million. It's very easy. The third reason is because the spectrum is different. So the spectrum for this system is unique to Benson and his friends. No one else has access to it. So why would Safaricom do something like this? If you're the big brother in the family, you have an obligation. I don't make any apologies for being a profitable company, and from time to time, twice a year, we get a little bit of abuse, and people say, you're making super profits. Yes, we do, because you guys are all shareholders, most of you are, and we have to provide a return on shareholding to shareholders. However, you cannot be a successful company and turn your back on the challenges that a community and society faces. And we don't believe that we could be running a successful company 30 or 40 years from now if insecurity continues unabated. 14.9 billion shillings is how much it's going to cost. One of the questions that I think came in advance of this is, there wasn't an open tender, so how do we know that the citizens of Kenya is getting a fair deal? It's very simple, because we're doing an open book approach. We're doing it at zero, because I remember I had a phone call from a very famous man in the country who said, Bob, I need you to do this without making a profit. Thanks for that. But I understand why it needs to be done. So there's zero markup, there's no margin. It cost us 14.9 billion shillings, and that's how much the government of Kenya will pay. The other thing the government of Kenya said is we don't have the money to pay up front. So they said, could you pay for it up front, and then we'll pay you over a period of time. And we said, okay. So we are building this network. We're going to equip it for the first year. We will take nothing from government. And so if we don't build it properly, government doesn't pay anything. Unlike any other system, there's no other system the government, or indeed you as businessmen and women, you take delivery and then you wait for a whole year before you pay. And when you pay, you do pay cost of financing. And the cost of financing is at 11.5%, because that's just cost of financing. But there's no margin for Safaricom. Open book approach, so that everything we pay, we show government, and government pays for it. The cameras, whatever we pay for it, that's what the government will pay for it. I don't believe there's any company in this country that can afford to front 15 billion shillings up front. I don't believe any foreign company is going to want to do it either, because, you know, foreign companies are not charities. And neither are we a charity. We are doing it simply because we want to be running this business in 20 or 30 years' time. If you take, and it breaks my heart, to those of you who are hoteliers, it breaks my heart when I look at the plight of our hotels on the coast today. Because I'm seeing 5% occupancy. I'm seeing friends who I've made when I've, you know, waiters and waitresses, and even the guys on the beach who are no longer earning a living because guests aren't coming. Do you think they would have wanted to invest 5 years ago if we'd given them the opportunity to make the country more secure? It's very simple. And now, I know we're in Kenya, and I know politics plays a role. We try not to get involved in the politics, but we do take a role as a corporate citizen. It's that simple. If somebody else wants to do it, you know, we're quite kind of happy, because Kennedy and the guys, they have other things to do. For a start, they have to make your network better so you don't drop the calls. And so that's fine. Because we don't make any money, it does not add anything to our profit, we're happy for someone else to come do it. But in the absence of someone else doing it, we'll do it. You know, we don't have access to the devices. We don't have access to the command and control center. And the command and control center is what will allow him to see exactly what's going on, but not just see, but to actually see it. And the guys will show you that these devices, they have video front and back. And so if you put yourself in the place of somebody who is in, last September in Westgate, a policeman is down, he can't see what's going on. He just knows his policeman is there, he doesn't know whether he's alive or dead. Benson will be able to switch that on remotely, to be able to see, even if the policeman is unconscious, to be able to see what is going on from the command and control center. This is one of the most sophisticated systems in the world. It is an equivalent to the system which you see running in London, the system which you see running in, and actually London is piloting this, system which you see running in New York, the system which you see running in Venezuela. It's exactly the same system. It is state of the art. Of course, it could be done cheaper. We could do analog. We could do walkie-talkie. So you do this Hello Benson over. You know, that'll kind of work as well. But you know, modern-day criminals don't think like that, and they don't act like that. You're up against a very big opponent, and this is why you need to have a state-of-the-art and something which is future-proof. Thank you very much.
You believe him? You do? I think you better. That they need to be here in 30 years. So that's why they need to invest in security and so on. I think very useful things and so on. It's at the cost. Open book, you know, and so on, so you can check it out anytime. Let us put our hands together and welcome our commander.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremony. Let me say that I'm delighted this afternoon to be here. In fact, it's true, I went to Sarawak Pan-Africa. Otherwise, that's something that is a challenge, but then I made my way very fast so that I can be with you together. Our chief guest this afternoon, Mr. Bukhari Maro, CEO of Safaricom, Chairman, Kara Fraternity, guest with us here, good afternoon. Let me say that I'm happy because I'm carrying, well, I have two caps. I have the cap of Nairobi County Police Commander. I also have another cap whereby I'm representing the National Police Service and Inspector General David Kamayo, he sent me to come here and read his speech. Let me say that as Nairobi Police County Commander, let me say that what we've been doing, we have been working hard. But now, after what we'll see here, we'll be working smart. Police officers will be working smart, not working hard. Although we are working hard, we ensure that Nairobians are safe and are secure. And you can attest to the fact that our officers are doing a good job. They are not working alone. They work in liaison with members of the public, and we are happy that, particularly during this time that we have these terrorism threats, members of public within Nairobi, we receive a lot of information, and we are happy that due to the information available to us, we are able to nip in the bud so many incidents that might have occurred. But our officers, let me tell you, they work very hard, and we have very many organs within the setup of police service. And these are boys and girls. They are men and boys. They are brothers and sisters. They are fathers and mothers. They are working for the interests of security in this capital city. What Safaricom has done, let me say, we are happy. I remember now tragically that when I was the commandant traffic 2 years back, we really worked hard with Safaricom. And I remember there is this good initiative that came about towards Saudi. Kenyans, wherever they were, in terms of road safety, they were saying towards Saudi. Who came about with this towards Saudi initiative? It is Safaricom. And because of towards Saudi, members of public and also motorists, the drivers, everybody, was able to ensure that he or she availed information pertaining to nipping in the bud road carnage. So this towards Saudi did us proud. So what are we seeing here today? We are seeing IT. We are seeing MAGAs within Nairobi, MAGAs, wherever they are, MAGAs in Mombasa. You will be able to be seen, you'll be able to be arrested. What about motorists? We talk about bad culture. We talk about driving culture of Nairobians. We talk about bad culture of Kenyans. We are known. Of course, we are known that we don't behave very well on the roads. Now, with this modern gadget, you drivers, I think your numbers are numbered. I think your days are numbered. Police officers, whatever they will be, I'm telling you, you'll be seen, you'll be arrested, be arraigned before court, and you'll face that justice system. So we are clapping because we know that even that bad culture on the roads will be something of the past, besides taking care of security. Otherwise, let me go down and read the Inspector General's speech. It is my pleasure to be here today to participate in this important discussion, which above all aims to improve our collective security and safety as a nation. Today, more than ever before, Kenyans live under constant fear of attacks by criminals, elements who use indiscriminate force against civilian populations and their property. As a matter of fact, every Kenyan now appreciates very well the magnitude of this problem based on our own domestic experiences. Security is a key component of our country's development agenda. As we are all aware, we are facing many security challenges in the country. These include organized militias, the threat of terrorism, street muggings, house breakings, trafficking in narcotics, as well as armed robberies. Police are by duty expected to resolve every instance of crime. This is a task we have accepted, which we cannot assign to anyone else, and which we must win. The biggest challenge is police are supposed to make sense out of ambiguous and often fragmented bits and pieces of information gathered from unwilling witnesses at scenes of crime. It is this information that the same officer must use in order to provide evidence for the prosecution. And this must happen in not